We're live. Welcome. All right. As people come into the room, let's see. I had a question that was sent to me by Naomi because she wasn't sure if she could make it. So I want to answer that for her. Um, Naomi says, I'm a soprano, 76 years old. Have never had an issue going from high to low notes, done mostly classical, choir, etc. However, abruptly, and this is possibly related to a hypothyroid condition, going below middle D is a whisper, no real voice. High notes are good, low notes are fine. It's around middle C that there's not a voice. Now, this can be some different issues. And obviously, I'm not a doctor. I haven't heard you, but as we age, we can get obviously weakness in the voice. We can get some bowing in the vocal folds where they don't come together completely. And the difference is on the low notes, the vocal cords are very thick, so they more easily come together. On the high notes, they've been stretched really taut. So very often it's easier for them to come together. It's in that middle that it gets tricky. Also, you talk about a hypothyroid condition. There's something called, and this is debated if hypothyroid is directly related to this, but it's called Ranke's edema, and it's a thickening of the gelatinous layer of the vocal cords or the vocal folds. So you have ligament and muscle, and then you have this gelatinous layer, and then you have the skin over it, the mucosal tissue. And this, what they call Ranke's edema, it can hold fluid. And as that gets thicker, it will lower the voice. It's often attributed to smoking. Smoking will tend to create this, and you'll get a smoker's voice. But the thyroid can be an issue. So what I recommend, obviously, if you're seeing a doctor about your thyroid condition, but ear, nose, and throat doctor, specifically a laryngologist. This is an ENT that further specializes in the voice, and that they can do a stroboscopy. And so they can look at your vocal folds and see what's going on. That's how you can best tell. In the meantime, I do recommend SOVT exercises, semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. A straw in water is great. So I use this a lot. This is made by Dr. Vox. It's a straw in water. You can do the same thing. They make straws specifically to go in water as well. I've got some sitting over there that Voice Straw makes. So they're just kind of bent, and you can put them in water. Here's one of them. This is the thicker straw. And you can use different diameters to get different resistance, how deep it goes, different resistance. But what you want to feel is kind of a bullfrog effect in the throat. So I feel that back pressure. And then go from high to low. And see if that doesn't help. Listen to my voice. See if that doesn't help smooth out that break. The back pressure from the straw in the water can be very helpful and help get that vocal fold closure. The other thing I will do without a straw is, let's say I'm having trouble coming down. I'll put a little K in there. And that helps me smooth that out. So give that a try in the meantime. Tracy is moderating the chat here today. Let's see, when your throat is dry, how do you get it undry? It is scruffy. So the best way to deal with a dry throat, um, is drinking water. Okay, this is systemic hydration, but the water takes a few hours to actually get to the throat. It feels good, right? But it doesn't actually touch your vocal cords. If it does, it's gone down the wrong way and you start coughing. But you need to stay systemically hydrated. Um, I will also drink myself. I will start off with my morning coffee. I do have coffee in the morning, love coffee, but I'll also have an electrolyte drink. I have a sugar-free electrolyte powder that I will mix and have one of those every day. Um, and then I also eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, water-rich foods, vegetable soups, things like that are really good. The other thing is topical, is getting moisture onto your vocal cords. A couple things you can do. The first is if you are in a dry environment, right? In the northern hemisphere, it's winter. The mid and east section of the US, freezing cold, heaters are running, that's very dry air, humidity drops. You can get something called a hygrometer. They're cheap. You can get them on Amazon, and it'll tell you the relative humidity in your environment. If that drops below 45%, I would run a humidifier in your sleeping environment. The other thing is this is a mesh nebulizer. Okay, this isn't steam. Steam can help, but this is different. What this does is you take these tubes of uh, 0.9% saline solution or isotonic solution. This better matches your body. And this, what it's doing, it's not creating steam. It's actually forcing this fluid through this little mesh screen into tiny little particles. This is easily absorbed by your vocal cords. You just breathe it in, and it also stays on your vocal cord. So that's a way to get topical hydration. Name brands, there's one made for singers. It's pretty expensive. It's like $170 or so. Honestly, I grab whatever's on sale. Here, I grabbed a couple of these recently. There is no brand name. It's just a portable mesh nebulizer. I just make sure they're rechargeable because they'll go through batteries pretty fast. But I I have multiple of these uh, in my home. I have one on each floor of my home. So up here where I have my video studio, and also where I've got one at my vocal booth. So I use that a lot. So how? Oh, good afternoon from Arizona. Yeah, Arizona. You need to stay hydrated. Let's see. How long should one practice per day to see vocal gains and improvements? Minimum of 20 minutes a day. And the 20 minutes, if you can do that um, in a focused way, that you are practicing deliberately, that you have targets, and that you're not, if you don't do something right, you're not getting frustrated. You're actually able to go, okay, here's my target. How far was I off? Let me adjust. If you're working with a teacher, 20 minutes a day, uh, 5, 6 days a week. Now, if you have a really busy day, you can just practice throughout the day, just in quick moments. Just doing lip bubbles uh, is fantastic. Just doing glides, but you should be doing something just about every day. If you're really serious um, as a singer, you can work that up to 45-minute sessions, up to an hour. If you're going to do more than that, I would split that between a morning session and an afternoon or evening session. You don't want to overwork the voice. It's not like you're practicing to be a classical pianist. You're not going to do 8 hours a day on your voice. That's usually too much. All right. So if you feel tightness towards the front of the neck muscles with longer singing, is that indicative of strain of the vocal muscles? Not necessarily. Um, when we talk about strain of the vocal muscles, I mean, everything is interconnected. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're straining your vocal cords, but it is an indicator that it's a possibility. What we need to have tension in the system. I will say this half jokingly, but singing without tension is called silence. We need to have tone. We need to have activation of muscles. We just don't want to over activate. When you feel that coming in, do this. You can go on YouTube and look up vocal self massage. And even if where you feel that tension, just gently pressing in to just get that to start letting go can be helpful. If when you feel that tension, don't continue to push. Stop. For myself, I have a target when I feel myself beginning to do that. My voice, I've shared this before, but I was diagnosed a few years ago with a benign essential vocal tremor. It's a neurological condition where my voice will shake. And so I have to do all kinds of exercises and therapy to override that. But one of the side effects of that is my body will tend to want to clench in order to stop the tremor, and I have to be on guard for that. My target when I go to sing something, I will think 60% effort, and that is actually a good target for me. I tend to have a larger, well, I have a larger voice. So that 60% effort level keeps me backed off because I can get very heavy with my voice very quick. So when you feel that tension, stop and see if you can get to the root of what's causing that and make an adjustment. So how much vocal exercise would be recommended on days where you've talked a lot throughout the day? So I would really, if you have a lot of voice work, I'd carry around a vocal straw and I would use the straw throughout the day. I've even got one. Let me see if I can find it. I've got all my vocal here. This is made by Uvo, and this is a voice straw necklace. So you just have this. You just do that for 30 to 60 seconds throughout the day when you have a quick break. And that can really go a long way to helping with vocal tension and fatigue. It will actually reset your voice. So when you do it, then go ahead and say something, usually something affirmative. Yes, that's right. It's got some positive energy and feel where your voice goes. And that it'll help reset your speaking pitch. You want to watch that the speaking pitch doesn't want to drop, and that will further fatigue you. Um, and then just listen to your voice. If your voice is really, really tired, then I would just do glides, lip bubbles, straw exercises, just things to keep the voice stretched and limber. I probably wouldn't work on belting that day. So, for those on high doses of antidepressants, realistically, is there a limit to how hydrated you can get from your foods? I don't know the answer to that. Um, there is a great resource. It's the National Center for Voice and Speech, ncvs.org. Um, and you'll have to hunt around the website because they will move it every time I go to look for it. Seems to me it's somewhere else, but they have a medications list and specifically the effects on the voice. So it's ncvs.org and just search it for the medications list. But that is a really good resource. But in terms of getting hydration from food, it's both food and obviously drink. And caffeinated beverages count towards that. It's the I've seen research actually, most of the research that I've seen these days uh, doesn't really support this idea that coffee is an extreme diuretic. Now, that could be confirmation bias on my part because I love coffee, but you don't want to be drinking it all day, and you do want to supplement with fluids. And then again, using the nebulizer is a huge help. I struggle with mucus in the throat. You use guaifenesin and hydrate, but it comes back quickly. Yeah, your teacher said we can sing around it, singing forward, but it still happens. Um, so if you're using guaifenesin, now guaifenesin is something that I do recommend. It is you can get it generic, um, and you can ask your doctor. But I've asked my general practitioner as well as my laryngologist, and they both say it's fine. I'll do 400 milligrams once or twice a day. It just thins the mucus. Uh, and then I also will uh, drink a lot of fluids. The other thing, and I don't know if you do this, but postnasal drip can be an issue. You can use a neti pot. I use this. I've had some people push back because of microplastics with the rinse bottle, but for me, the neti pot, I haven't even tried it, but I think I would just make a mess. But you put these little packets in here, and you warm water and squirt that up your nose. If you do this, the rinse, I highly recommend after you do it to lean forward over a towel and let it all rush out. Because if you don't, it can come flying out like 2 hours later, and it's kind of embarrassing. But that can help as well. I'd also look at your diet and see if there's foods that you can work as a process of elimination. But yes, your teacher is correct. You can sing around the phlegm. It's basically urge avoidance because the phlegm is going to make us want to clear our throats, and it can interrupt with the flow of singing. Look, it's harder to sing with thick mucus on the vocal folds, but if it's something that's going to be present, you just work so that you don't overreact to it and you don't let it throw you. Let's see. Love your videos. Thank you. I'm seeing a big improvement across the board with your exercises. Is there a comprehensive video that has all of the exercises? Is there a specific order you recommend? Jody, so th- there are a couple of videos that are longer. I think I've got like two workouts that I posted. Those actually come from Voice School, voiceschool.com, which is my online program where I specifically work with people and coach people live and do vocal diagnostics and in my team. So that's where I have a lot of that type of material. But in terms of what I have here on YouTube, I don't think there's any particular order. And the other thing I will say about the exercises, use the pause button. Don't be afraid. Don't think that you have to do my video or anyone else's top from start to finish without stopping. Hit the pause button. If there's an exercise that works, go ahead and do it a cappella. Or if you have like a little keyboard that can give you reference and work that longer than I do on the video. Uh, Focus on what's working for your voice. There are going to be exercises that work better for you. Take charge as well. So use my videos as a basis for you to create your own workouts as well. Let me see. What about, oh, hold on, I got to scroll up. What about pain in the frontal sinus when singing high notes? I'm also an MD, so I know where the frontal sinuses are. Wow, I don't know. I'm not sure um, what's going on there, unless you have sinus issues or things like that. Basically, when we're singing and the sensations that we feel are when we create the sound waves and we create this interaction and this energy in the vocal tract, our body is absorbing over 90% is the figure I've heard, which is wild. We experience that in different ways. We experience different pitches and vowels, etc., as being in different parts of the body or different parts of the head. We'll talk about chest voice. We'll talk about head voice. Meanwhile, the sound is always going this way. I don't know if those particular vibrations are causing sensitivity. Um, if there is tension that is radiating from the vocal mechanism through the body, it's hard for me to say. I'm just speculating at this point. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I haven't heard that one before. So I'm interested. I'm going to look into that, see if there's any studies on that or if anyone's talking about it. Let's see. I deal with a tight jaw from having had braces. When young, my coach made me read things with a wine cork in my mouth to loosen my jaw. I noticed it helps my neck muscles being less tight. So very often when we do something like we have this wine cork in our mouth, not only does it stop, right, extraneous movement if we're doing too much, but it also creates awareness. Awareness in the voice is something that we need to cultivate. When I first started studying singing, and my teacher would say to me, "Do you feel that? Do you feel that? That was wrong. That was right. Do you feel the difference?" I couldn't tell. I didn't really feel these differences between my chest voice and my mix and my head voice. I mean, they were faint, but it took me a while to have um, greater awareness of where you're feeling effort. Sometimes when we're singing, we're just so worried about the note, we don't realize that we've tightened in the neck, that we've tightened in the jaw, that we have excess tongue tension. The tongue itself, cultivating awareness of the tongue is incredibly important because the tongue acoustically is vital in singing, especially when you're singing higher. And if you're going to belt, you have to be able to utilize the tongue. The back of the tongue will move back to create narrowings that are essential in high belt. The dorsum of the tongue, that hump, how far it moves forward is going to adjust resonances in the vocal tract, all of these awarenesses. So, yeah, anything that you do that can help you with awareness. A great one is back and forth from SOVTs to singing, SOVTs to singing, those semi occluded vocal tract exercises. Uh, Dr. Ingo Titze, who really popularized the use of straws. We've been using SOVTs in the voice for hundreds of years. I mean, lip bubbles, etc. But really, how straws work and the research into that. He says the body remembers. I'm struggling with with a with a note. I can't get it. This is made by Voice Straw. This cup allows me to sing into it. This straw creates the resistance. Now I can get into it. The back pressure of the straw enables me to find the balance. And then when I take the straw away, there it is. And now my body can better remember that. So I'm a big believer in using tools like that. Another great one, Jeremy Ryan Mossman, voice teacher friend of mine. The tube, hold on. Here we go. Paper towel tube. Sing into that. That's actually going to give you feedback from the voice and help create awareness. It's pretty remarkable. So next roll of paper towels you go through. Save that and sing into it. So Mucinex, yeah, someone's recommending Mucinex. Um, okay, you love the neti pot. Yeah, generic guaifenesin is cheaper than Mucinex, and it doesn't have any of the other stuff. I've honestly never done Mucinex. I've just done guaifenesin. Let me see. Yeah, breath support being more difficult with age. So as we age, we begin to lose elasticity. We have the three enemies of aging. What aging does to us, the conspiracy of aging, the axis of evil. Yeah, is atrophy, stiffness, and weakness. So with the lungs, we begin to have stiffness, and if the lungs aren't as flexible, then we can begin to have issues. Also, just weakness and the core. An exercise that I love lately. I got this from Carrie Obert, who's a brilliant voice teacher, speech language pathologist, and she coached me and really helped me rehabilitate my voice from my tremor. Is for working support, because with this tremor, I have to keep support. If I let my voice just go, it will start to do that. So it is, you pretend you're Superman and you're about to stop a speeding train, right? Speeding locomotive. And here we go. And I feel about 50%. There it is. That, that's my support. And I will work that support. There is a device as well that you can get. This is called Breather. Let me see, is that going to get it? Breather Voice. And the Breather Voice, what I can do is there are dials for inhale and exhale, and I can adjust the resistance. They did a study of singers, and they had the controlled group do nothing, and then they had the other group just on the inhale use resistance. Now, if you don't want to spend the money on this, you can, like you're slurping thin spaghetti. And they just had them resistance on the inhale, let it out. And what they found is warming up that way, doing a sequence of that. Those singers had an improvement in sustaining of notes, ease of singing. There were a number of factors where there was like 25, over 20% on some of these. So it was very noticeable. What this resistance does is it engages the muscles of inhalation and connects your awareness to them, because what is your support? Your support is keeping this engagement of those inhalation muscles. It's like putting on the brakes of a car rolling downhill so we don't, right? And relaxed breathing, it all just comes out. When we've got to sing, this engages, that core engages. I would work that. I would get resistance. In this, you can work the inhale and the exhale. It's I'm not sure how much these are now. I think it was around $50 or so. These gadgets are kind of pricey just because they're not mass market. So they have to obviously create these things and manufacture them. So it's not incredibly cheap. Let me see. Oh, somebody had chronic vocal mucus sinus for singing, found out it was air fresheners in her car and the Wizard plugin in the house. There's a lot of environmental stuff that can affect us, I guess, infect us as well. But yeah, that's great advice. Cynthia, how can I sound fuller in the higher notes like E? Cynthia, are you saying the note E, like the E above middle C, the E5, the octave above, or are you talking about the vowel E? Because the vowel E is very particular. It's a peculiar vowel. So just let me know. I'll get back to you. Um, Yawning and Straw have helped me. Great. Let's see. I thought my singing days were coming to an end. I was so depressed. I'm learning that I am not too old. I just need to work differently and more consistently. Thank you for all the great content. That is my mission. Look, whatever age you are, you have vocal potential that is untapped. It's not the same as when you were 25 or 35, but it's still there. And when you start to work your voice and you realize that you have to work your voice differently for your age, you'll be surprised how much your voice can improve. Seriously. I mean, look, you're not going to have the range that you had at 25, most likely, if you were singing well at 25. If you weren't, you may have more, but you have a different instrument now. But it is still, look, as long as you can phonate and make sound, you are still in the game. So don't give up. Don't give in to this. Fight the good fight. Let's see. Oh, their softer notes are coming through more easily with the exercises. That's great. Downloaded the book. Great. Thank you. Yeah. On most of my videos, if you haven't seen it, this book this has been an Amazon bestseller in the voice category a number of times. And this book, you can download the full PDF for free. And it's usually a link in check my most recent videos. It's there on YouTube. Let's see. I'm on week 8. I'm doing vocal exercise. I started doing vocal exercises because I noticed I lost control of my upper register. Voice flips and cracks. Now I have more control, but still have a ways to go. I'm hopeful now. It's also strength. One of the things I've really noticed, it's different in the older voice, my older voice versus my younger voice, is so much of singing is done in the vocal tract, not just at the vocal cords. And my vocal tract weakened. I actively work my vocal tract. I will sit, and you can do this without making a sound, and I will work raising my soft palate. Lift it as high as I can, like reps at the gym. Then I'll raise it, and then feel that radiate down the back of my throat, the back wall, and see how much I can expand that. Then I will take my tongue and push the back of my tongue back. I will push my tongue forward into my front teeth. I mean, I work to strengthen my tongue. All of these things. The voice needs work. We're fighting against weakness. We're fighting against atrophy. Let's see. I have a problem with cracks, breaks, weakness going from chest to head voice. So there are exercises to help bring down the head voice to assist with covering this. Absolutely. Some of the best exercises are glides or narrow vowels. The oo vowel in particular is very helpful if you're coming up from the bottom. So this break, this shift that we feel is happening because there are changes on 2 levels. There is the physical change of your vocal folds going from short and fat to long and thin. But then there's the acoustic shift, and the acoustics get kind of complicated. I'm not going to go into the weeds on that too much, other than to say vowels like oo and e, the resonances of those vowels help stop the crack. They're harder to belt on, but initially, when we're working through the break, a great exercise is coo, 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 coo. Just coo, or gee. Gee, 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 gee. Don't make it a big sound. It's gentle. If it's really falling apart, gee, 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 gee. Keep a little cry, like I'm whining a little bit. Oh, come on. Gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. That helps bring in a little more vocal cord closure. Take it easy as you're building this. You have to build the coordination before you really start going in with intensity. Glides are great. Ah to ooh, ooh to ah, on the bottom. Ooh, ah, or the other way. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. The ah is friendlier to the lower register, helps bring in your chest voice, if you will. The U is friendlier to the higher register. And you do it smoothly. Ooh, ooh, helps eliminate the break. Right? You don't want to do it, change too fast. Because that can help make it break. It's a great exercise. Yeah, the breather is like having restricted breathing. Yeah, it creates resistance. It creates so that you have to work harder. You have to work harder to breathe in, as well as exhale. But look, any of these you don't need tools for. Ultimately, you can do SOVTs with your lips and tongue. That helps. You can through narrow lips, right? You can belt. Just cover your mouth. And you'll get back pressure as you're singing into it. So you can always work your voice. You don't have to have a collection of these sitting on your desk. Oh, let me see. Tracy's sending me to some additional questions. Hold on. Let me see. Rex is asking, how important is it for me to not experiment with higher belts because it can set me back? You know, Rex, I think you should experiment here and there. Just to feel it and see how your body's reacting, how your nervous system's reacting. But as you go for the belts, I would just start out with just kind of calling out, hey, yeah, yeah, right? So you're just calling to someone that's across the street, yeah, yeah, and then yeah, and then see if you can hold it. And if it jams up, okay, all right, ask yourself, if you're okay on the yeah, what's happening when you go to sustain? Why is that jamming up? It's really about awareness, but don't mindlessly just start shouting. I would recommend not doing that. So classically trained singer, how do you make that growly, screechy sound? Think Janis Joplin's yeah, yeah, yeah. So vocal distortion, we've actually, I'll do a voice school plug. I actually found a great expert on vocal distortions, and she's done a class for us that we're releasing very soon to voice school members. But what you do is you actually start to engage the false vocal folds above, and they're making the distortion. It's not happening at the vocal cords. That yeah, right is, and it's almost like you're throwing a tantrum. And so the voice, right, you're starting to get that going. It can feel like it's scratching at first, but it's not happening at the vocal cords. The other one is your arytenoid cartilages in the back. They can rattle, so you get some of that in the voice. Yeah, I try not to do. I don't do that with my windows open. But there are ways to do it safely. It's not outright yelling and screaming. Let's see. So Juliet, I was progressing and then I got the flu, terrible cold with the worst sore throat, coughing I've ever experienced. Couldn't sing for a month. Any advice for ramping up my practice? Juliet, that happened to me. Oh my gosh, I got it early, like October, November. I coughed for 6 weeks. It was brutal. You just come back a little bit each day as you're coming back. At first, I was just doing gentle glides, just as much as I could do them. Straws, lip bubbles, etc. You just take it bit by bit. I do have a video on my channel that is about coming back from an illness. It's maybe like 7-8 videos back, but if you look at my videos, I did one just after I was sick. So Liz Kelly, how are you, Liz? It's good to see you. I hope you're well. Joyce, would using a thin straw for inhaling slowly be a more suitable option for consistency? Yeah, yeah. You can improvise all these. Tracy is asking, how do hormonal changes with the menopause affect your voice? I'm a soprano and struggling. Everyone's different, but it has a direct effect on the voice. There is a book that is Joanne Bozeman, Nancy Boss, and I think it's Kate Fraser Neely, Singing Through Change, that directly talks about this. Joanne Bozeman did a masterclass in voice school all about this. But yeah, you're losing estrogen, and what tends to happen is there is a thickening of the vocal folds. You can talk to your doctor about hormone replacement therapy and see if that's an option for you. I understand that singers can get very good results from that, but that's for you and your doctor to discuss. Let me see. I think let me go down to the bottom. How do you keep from using your throat to sing? And this is one sometimes voice teachers want to be smart alecky about this and say, well, you have to sing from your throat. But I know what you're talking about. And what it is, it's the feeling, especially on higher notes, that you're caught in your throat and that you're hitting a wall and you can't get out of it. And what is happening, this is primarily acoustics. The vocal tract, the area of your throat and your mouth, this is like the trumpet of your voice. Your vocal folds, your vocal cords are the trumpet player's lips. They just go. This is where the magic is really happening in the vocal tract. And the sound wave is interacting with these resonances, these natural amplification properties within this acoustic space. And Um, what will happen is a lower resonance gives us a big boost in chest voice. We like that feeling. And as we go higher, we try and keep that lower resonance primary. And the only way to keep raising the value of that lower resonance is to compress at the throat and to widen at the mouth. And so people start feeling that. And what we need to do is actually drop the value of that resonance and allow the next higher resonance to take over, which you don't have to understand. You just need to know that more narrow vowels are the path forward through that, at least initially. It's the same exercise as I talked about eliminating the break. Oohs and ees. If you feel you're stuck in your throat, you can do a couple of things. First, low larynx exercises, just because if you've really worked in that behavior, then the throat is going to tend to want to tighten and rise the larynx when you go to sing. So things that are kind of dopey, like Patrick from SpongeBob, hey SpongeBob. And, you know, I even will do things like, keep that real kind of dopey and dumb. And as you do this, you will start to feel the sensations of the voice shift. This feeling of vibration shift from being stuck here to what people tend to feel is it lifts behind the soft palate and up. Ooh. If you do this and say, mm-mm, put your tongue on your soft palate, like you're saying the word sung, and go, mm-mm, and then go, mm. Where do you feel that vibration? So here, I feel the vibration right where the tongue meets the soft palate. But if I go, the sensation lifts. Now, the voice isn't going up into here. All right. I would hope that this is occupied, at least for myself. This is not a hollow resonance space, but the sensation shift. And that is the feeling of allowing those higher resonances to start doing the job. Robin is asking, baritone wannabe tenor here in the UK. I've been singing right at the top of my range, F above middle C, for half an hour. It starts to pinch. Ideas welcome. So, sorry, I need a quick drink of water. And Robin, I believe you left a comment on one of my videos, and I haven't had a chance to respond to you. I will do that there, but here, that F above middle C, that note in particular is a note you want to watch out for, because when I talk about these resonance shifts, the first resonance that we associate more with chest voice versus this higher resonance, particularly the second resonance, this handover, this F is pretty much the last note that we can push up into. When you're singing that F, you really want to watch that the voice isn't heavy and that the vowel isn't too wide. So if I'm here and I'm starting to sing like this, right, a little shouty, I can do that for a while, but I'm going to start to feel that pinch. An exercise I really like is WON, one, wah, wah, wah. It's like a little filter sweep. It narrows the vowel really, really quick. And I'll just feel 1, 1, 1, 1. So if it's here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Here's the G. 1. It's supposed to ha. 1, 1. As opposed to that push. So that 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. What helps you get that lift. So that F, you should feel a bit of a lift there. That's in your mix. So be careful of that note. Carol, been using your teaching to strengthen my voice. I sing with a senior chorus and told my voice has improved. Great. Still struggling with higher notes for soprano. Maybe normal now for my age, 70 plus. Thanks. You you can still build strength into your higher notes. Higher notes also require a bit of what is called twang. And an exaggerated version of twang is that kind of bratty SpongeBob. Hey, Patrick. And if I don't have that in my voice, like if I'm going for something really high, right? And I'm trying to without it, it's not going to work very well. Yeah! If I get that in the voice, yeah! I can get my voice higher. So that, even as a soprano, you need that narrowing. So to work that, it's little edgy, bratty exercises. I like key. I'll say key, 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 key. And I really make sure I keep it key, 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 key. I even make the ugly face. Key, 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 key. And I'm making sure those vocal cords are coming together and closing and keeping that edge. And it's not a big sound. You don't push this. You don't force this. Yeah, but that little and that narrowing and working that vocal fold closure, that will strengthen. And then obviously you don't sing as a soprano on the exaggeration, but the exaggeration helps build the strength and the coordination. I'm constantly aware of my breathing while singing. An instructor told me my diaphragm should always be as hard as a rock. Distending it, this has become distracting. How can I stop this? So here's how I look at support. Okay, is the the diaphragm is a muscle of inhalation. The diaphragm is dome shaped. When it's relaxed, your lungs are attached, the bottom of your lungs. When you contract it, it drops, it flattens, and it pulls the lungs down. It's like a vacuum effect for the air. And then when you breathe out, it's just going back to a relaxed state. And the reason that singing teachers, etc., will have you focus on it is because we don't want it to instantly go back like we do in relaxed singing. However, that's not all of support. It's also ab muscles, the intercostals, the rib cage, the back. I view support like this. As I breathe in, it's 360 degrees, right? And then I press out. I keep those muscles engaged. If I focus on having this like super rock hard, what I'm doing is I'm over tensing for me. So unless I'm getting, I could be misconstruing what your teacher's going for, but I'll just take it from this idea of rock hard. What that's going to do, that tension is going to radiate through the body. Our body, we're basically held together by this netting called fascia. And the fascia is all interwoven in the muscles, and it can be rock hard or it can be smooth and flowing. And when you tighten up, everything tightens up. I mean, it can radiate. And so that for me would create excess tension in my singing. I stay on this feeling of pressing out and expansion. And I feel engagement in my abs. But it's not the same as me just trying to think, oh, I'm going to get my diaphragm rock hard. Let's see. The F that the Sondheim song "Lovely" begins on. I'm going to admit that's not jumping. Embarrassingly, it's not jumping to my head. Um, what's the first word, Rex? Oh, it's lovely. Yeah. So what I would do, the L can be problematic. We can start to get tension on that. So sing lovely, wa, or you can sing wov we. Put the W in there and just see wa wa as opposed to la wa la wa la. Go back and forth and see how that helps. But starting on an F is tricky, and also giving yourself a target that you're going to do this at 50% of your effort level. And then when you do that, just now analyze. Okay, was I on target or off target? Don't view your singing as right or wrong, good or bad. Target, on target, off target. And if it's off target, go, okay, what can I adjust to get it back on target? And then your practice can become very systematic rather than judgmental. We have to be, as singers, you have to be incredibly careful of your self-dialogue and your inner critic. You should have a system in your practice and a way of speaking to yourself and working with your voice that is non-judgmental. Doesn't mean that we're not thinking. It doesn't mean that we're not analyzing. But having a system that's more on target, off target is much more helpful. I actually just recorded a podcast on this. I don't think it's out yet. If you really, really, really want to dig in to like the voice science stuff and mindset and just hear me go on about all this stuff, as well as some cool guests. The Intelligent Vocalist podcast, I've been doing it for over 10 years. I've got 460 something episodes. There's a lot. So Nancy Boss also has a podcast. Yes. Nancy has been on my podcast. I've been on hers. Yeah. So that's good. Oh, love your podcast. Thank you. Is that Joyce? Appreciate it. But that's I go much deeper into stuff than I will on YouTube, mainly because YouTube is just a different format. So I try and be just very concise with what I'm giving to people. And I appreciate people watching my YouTube channel. That's only been I think not quite a year. I did the Voice School YouTube channel before. I've got a John Haney Vocal Studio channel. It's more reaction videos. Those have their own problems with copyright strikes and all that stuff. But yes, it's the Intelligent Vocalist podcast. This publishes every Tuesday. And Tracy knows that because Tracy has to stay on top of me to give her content. Because that's a lot of content to stay up on. So let's see if I've got all the questions here. Yes, protect your confidence. That's the one coming up. Confidence is not a belief, it's a skill. Your confidence as a singer. One of my favorite quotes that I heard from a singer, and I can't remember who said it. Actually, a voice teacher told me a singer said this, is I leap knowing I'll land. We don't have keys to press. We don't have frets. We have this instrument we don't see. We don't really feel. We feel the effects of it. And we have our brain connected to it. We have to think this event before it happens. I can take my finger and I can set it on this middle C and press down and know that a C is going to come out. I don't know if it's going to come out of here every time. I have to believe that. And if my confidence is shaken, there's likely going to be problems. So you need to protect your confidence. You need to be careful how you talk to yourself. You need to be careful how you let others' criticisms affect you as well. Your mindset is incredibly important. And I will say, as the hour is drawing to a close, if you're a singer over 50, you need to stop comparing, not just comparing yourself to other singers, right? And these wonderful young vocal coaches who are just in the prime of their voice, showing you all these great things their voice can do. That that's a different time. You have a different instrument now. Don't compare yourself to others, and don't compare yourself to your former self. I see people do that to themselves a lot, older singers, and they just beat themselves up. Look, your 20-year-old self is gone. That happened. Your 20s happened, your 30s happened. You are your age now. You have this instrument now. You need to focus on this instrument, what this instrument needs, what the potential of this instrument right now has. And that's what you work with. And the other stuff is just despair. Comparing is despairing. So focus on your voice now. I promise you, there is untapped potential. You still have music in you. So thank you so much, everyone. We will do this again. All right. You take care. Bye bye.